I'm Jeff Hunt. He's Bill Thorpe. Aldi's?
Might have a new grocery store option.
It's just so wonderful, the free market.
Yeah, this is nice.
It brings you all these options. You want to go to Whole Foods and spend an arm and a leg on an avocado? It's the size of your head? You can. Aldi's providing a different option. I don't even know what an Aldi's is, bro.
Yeah,
never even heard of it.
Yeah,
yesterday.
it's a neat little grocery store chain that's coming in. They're actually owned by the same company that does Trader Joe's, and so it's a kind of that idea. And they're coming to town. It should be really neat, depending on where they are. Hopefully, I'd love to have one in my neighborhood. I mean, we've already got.
Would you?
Yeah,
you would go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There are certain things, absolutely. That there are certain things with Aldi's, but again. I have a King Soopers and a Safeway that are literally across the street from each other. So I bounce back and forth between stores.
Fight it out.
Yeah, I bounce back and forth between the stores based on the price.
Consumers.
Yeah. Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah, and Aldi there's going to be 50 stores opening?
Yeah,
Whoa.
That's a lot. Now, the big thing is they're also planning a distribution center here by 2029.
Yeah, in Aurora.
That's going to be amazing because that then means the products you're going to get inside the store are much better quality, so and a lot quicker, and so especially their produce. That's the thing that normally separates from people that I know that live in areas that have Aldi's. They say that's really the differentiator, is the produce really does bring you in because you can get produce that is as good, if not better quality than most of what the Kroger and the Safeway delivers to you, but it's about 25% cheaper. And so they say that across the board, it's usually a better deal. Cheeses, some of the other stuff. That's kind of how they try to bring you in, is on those produce sides, and then you get the deals based on the box goods. But yeah, also the Isle of Shame. We'll talk about that after Blake's news.
What?
Yes, there's an Isle of Shame.
So
I'm looking forward
I
to
lived
that.
in California for many years, and there were Trader Joe's. That was a very popular place. It's not so much out here, but out there it was. And they had the $2 chuck. You can get a bottle of wine for $2. And I guess there's one here that's pretty popular with all these too.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah.
right.
So this could be interesting. Yeah, but we'll talk about the Isle of Shame, which is one of the wonderful things about Aldi's, which is fantastic. So I'm looking forward to this.
I heard Aldi's has Ben & Jerry's ice cream. 8794 texts in, but they package it in generic containers, and it's like half the price.
Yeah,
Wait,
we'll talk
what?
about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it, what Aldi's is doing in the model. But yeah, we'll get to that here in a second because their model is really fairly brilliant. If you're a fan of the idea of knowing when you go to Costco or Sam's Club and you're like, oh, if I'm buying the Kirkland brand, I'm really buying this producer's stuff. If you play that game, you are going to love Aldi's. And I'll tell you why.
There you go. All right, we'll learn more about it because they're going to be coming here, so you got to stick around. You're not going to want to miss that. Denver with a mask ban. Wait, a mask ban? Wait, what year is it? Because I thought we were forced to wear masks at one point by these nitwits down at the Denver City Council. They're now going to force you to take them off. We'll talk about what the city council is proposing to do in the city of Denver. Ty Winner, assistant minority leader, the number 2 at the Colorado House of Representatives, Republican down at the Colorado House of Representatives, is going to join us, give us an update on the legislative session that kicks off tomorrow. And then Kelsey Reinhardt, CEO of Catholic Votes, going to join us as Colorado pays up $5.4 million in attorney fees after abortion pill reversal lawsuit. We'll get to all that and more. Now is time for the news.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Tuesday morning, 34 with some clouds, a few out there in Denver. Beautiful morning, though. Expecting a high of 61 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, a deputy is recovering after a pursuit in Douglas County following an armed carjacking in Arapahoe County last night. The suspect vehicle was located in Highlands Ranch and was chased until it ended near County Line and Santa Fe. The suspect allegedly fired at deputies who returned fire and wounded the suspect. The suspect was taken to the hospital, and a passenger in the vehicle was arrested. Thankfully, a Douglas County deputy who was wounded is expected to be okay. The investigation continues.
That's another example, Blake.
Yeah.
Of Sheriff Weekly having to clean up the problems of the rest of the state.
Exactly.
Right? He told me one time that 80% of the people in his jail aren't from Douglas County.
I remember him saying that. It may have been to you guys, but yeah.
I mean, here's a carjacking
example.
Carjacking starts in Arapahoe County, and he ends up cleaning it up when it gets down to Douglas County. Good job, Weekly.
Yeah, that's right. Thank God for those guys. Denver City Council working on new ordinance to ban the use of masks.
Wait,
by
what?
law enforcement.
What?
Yeah, what?
Banning
Isn't that crazy?
masks?
What? How?
They all of a sudden become conservatives? I thought
Wait a
this
minute.
was 2000. Is this 2020?
Right. They could be saving lives. They probably are saving lives by wearing those masks.
Yeah, right.
Outside, inside. Was it Flora Alvarez and Chantel Lewis? This is their proposal. The original measure, I just said measure. My grandparents used to say measure would have allowed Denver police to arrest any law enforcement officer who wore a mask, with exceptions for SWAT and other engaged in tactical or undercover operations. Yeah, like ICE. Several committee members voiced concerns about arresting federal agents, and the measure could be changed to issue citations rather than make.
Well, gee Willie. Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, thanks a lot.
It's just amazing. Like, what do you expect? DPD's going to go out there and start handing out tickets to ICE agents?
Oh yeah, bunch of Barney Fifes out there. Nip it, take your mask off. Oh God, yeah. 6 years ago, these were the same people making sure that every human being walked around in a mask everywhere. And at the time, I'm thinking, okay, I don't believe in this garbage anyway. But I'm thinking, someone walking into a bank with a mask all over their face, advantages there. And now they want them to take them off. It's just too much. So we'll see how that develops here. Minnesota and Illinois both suing the administration over immigration enforcement activities that the lefties say is unconstitutional and terrorizing communities. The separate lawsuits filed Monday come after the administration surged enforcement activity in Chicago and Minneapolis, by the way. I think I should only be active during Bears games in Chicago. Let's see how many people are trying to deter them during a Bears game in Chicago. We'll see what happens. Former Mexican cartel kingpin will be sentenced to life in prison today in New York City. Ismael El Mayo Zambada Garcia, who led the Sinaloa cartel with El Chapo, pleaded guilty last year and apologized for flooding the U.S. with cocaine and other illicit substances. Good, lock him up. Speaking of getting locked up, the Clintons could face contempt of Congress if they fail to show for a House committee hearing in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Bill and Hill were originally ordered to appear before the GOP-led committee in December, but asked that the date get pushed back until today. Today is the day. Now a committee spokesperson says neither has confirmed they will appear, and Congressman James Comer, the chairman of the panel, said he'll slap them with contempt if they don't show. Let's see, what else we have going? We have so much garbage going on here. I got to tell you about this here real quick. Police investigating after a school bus crashed into a pole downtown last night. The bus was reportedly carrying students from Regis High School. At the time of the crash, at the intersection of North Spear and West 18th Avenue, no injuries reported, thankfully. A crosswalk pole was damaged, and XL Energy was working on repairing an electrical connection point that wound up beneath the bus. Google parent company Alphabet is the latest company worth $4 trillion. The company reached the $4 trillion market evaluation Monday when shares jumped about 1%. All right, Monday night NFL playoff action last night. The Texans advance after beating the Steelers 30-6. I don't know how they won this game. That shows you how bad the Steelers are. C.J. Stroud fumbled the ball a couple of times, and I thought, man, this thing is all unraveling for them. Head coach D'Amico Ryans in the locker room after the game.
But as we all know, that's just one. That's right. We got to go get a few more. All right? That's just one. That's just one. Great job coming here, handling business, doing what we got to do. Back to work.
Yep. And that's what they did.
Blake.
Yes.
With D'Amico Ryans, I was bouncing around TV beforehand, and I had saw something. He was on ESPN doing something I had never seen a head coach do beforehand. He was doing a pregame interview. And,
it's weird.
And I was
seeing
like,
that,
I'm
isn't
like, what? But the thing that got me was how he approached it. He wasn't talking about game plan per se, but he was talking about mentality and mindset and getting ready. And the funny thing is after the interview, one of the guys on the ESPN panel is like, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to suit up. He goes, I got 3 series in me. I can go. And
That's right.
That's what I was so impressed with, was how much of a motivator he was inside of that speech. And I saw that last night watching the game, because C.J. Stroud did not look good. There were times over over again where he made awful choices and horrible mistakes, but there were times he'd come over and the coach come over and would keep talking to him. And again, it was a thing where you talk about the idea that there are guys that are X's and O's guys, and there are guys that are man managers. That dude's a man manager.
He is.
He was getting his head back in the game. I was really impressed with what he was able to do to keep the team, his Texans, on track to what should have been, in many ways, a Steelers win, because they were giving the Steelers every chance in the world to beat them.
Well, what do you think of Aaron Rodgers finishing his career likely with a fumble return for a touchdown and a pick return for a touchdown?
Kind of sad.
Do you think
kind of sad, but he may want to call it
Lord,
quits.
kick the door shut on my career.
For me, it's absolutely perfect, and that's only because outside of the Broncos, my second team is the Packers, because that's where my mom grew up. And so as a child, it was Broncos, Packers. That's how I was raised. And once he left the Packers, he is dead to me. And so that's it. So I'm happy that this is how the career ends, only because he left the Packers, and that's it. So there's no rationality to it. It is totally emotional, and I understand that I'm being sort of a weenie, but I'm okay with it.
See, I like the guy. I mean, he was an amazing quarterback in his prime, but yeah, you watch him, he just can barely move. Although I have seen worse quarterbacks, who can move in the pocket. But, at the same time, a week ago, he drives them downfield in less than a minute, I think, to put him in this position to be in the playoffs. I mean, he's just he's a Hall of Famer. But that's kind of a sad way to end your career if this is the end. But yes, I mean, you got to hang him up, man. It's hard to hang him up.
Do you think it's easier to go out like that, where it's just like, or go out the way John Elway did?
Yeah, that's a great question. That is a great, or like Barry Sanders did, same thing. Barry and John Elway. I mean,
because when you're Elway and you go out on top, you always have that kind of hanging in the back of your mind. Could I have done one more season?
No doubt.
Versus the way Rodgers is going to go. He's like, no.
No, I agree. I think to me, it would be more difficult to hang him up when you still could play 2 or 3 more years.
Yeah.
So I give him credit. Just play until they kick you out of there.
Oh yeah, I like the idea. The idea of playing until they kick you out of there. Although I'll tell you this, that long term, I think leaving before the clock runs out on your ability helps you mentally long term because the game's never taken away from you. You decided to leave, and you still have that idea that, I could have gone another year. I could have gone another 3 or 4 series. I could have done a half season. I could have been a backup. The idea that I made the choice to walk away, I think is much easier than the game saying you can no longer compete at this level. You need to leave. I think that long term, because you're being voted off the island at that point. So I think that I understand why, and you play until the very last moment you possibly can, because it's the only time in your life that you ever will be able to do this. But I think mentally, long term, it's better to walk away before all of your skill set deteriorates to a point in which they have to ask you to leave. I just think it's going to be better for you long term.
I think it also says something about quarterbacks right now when you have Aaron Rodgers, who's the starter in Pittsburgh, and then you have Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement. Man, the quarterback spot right now is not good. I mean, across the board, generally speaking, 32 teams. They need to, the quarterback spot needs to improve. And the draft is not going to have, it's not going to have a lot of quality quarterbacks either. It's just not.
And some of the quarterbacks we thought were going to be quality haven't turned out to be there. And
that's true.
Again,
I
always go back.
Patient.
Yeah, I always go back, and we've done it before on the show. I go back to that Hall of Fame 5. I go back, to those that were drafted, and when the only guys later in the rounds were the ones that ended up being any good. So, we were told, it was going to be the Sam Darnold. It was going to be, that type of idea.
Right.
And that was going to be it for the next, decade or so. And that didn't turn out. So there are a number of quarterbacks that everybody thought was going to be fantastic, and they didn't really turn out. And then, of course, Patriots find Drake May. What the hell is that about? That's really,
exactly. You just never know. Once again,
if you don't know, you really don't.
Absolutely. So a reminder, the Broncos will continue preparation for the Bills Saturday at Mile High, 2:30 in the divisional round. Maple Leafs skate past the Avs last night, 4-3, 31 in Superior, 32 in Parker, 34 in Denver. You're waking up with Jeff and Bill. It is Tuesday. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Your KNUS forecast for the Denver metro area calls for a cool, dry, pleasant winter morning, more like a fall morning as temperatures will be in the low to mid 30s. Fall-like temperatures today, highs again near 60 degrees.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. What Coloradans should know about shopping at Aldi's. Headline from Denver Gazette. As Aldi's looks to open its first stores in Colorado, there's a few things locals should know. I guess it's pretty popular in like all the other states, right? Aldi's now has 285 stores in Florida. In Florida. They bought Winn-Dixie. Grocer became the place to go for cheap cheese and wine for a classic charcuterie board night with friends. Aldi has become a power player in the U.S. grocery industry, especially along the East Coast. As inflation pushed grocery costs up during the pandemic, Aldi became increasingly popular and began to aggressively expand in new stores across the country. Aims to open 180 stores in U.S. this year, 50 here in Colorado, with a goal of 3,200 stores by the end of 2028. Aldi has several unique shopping features at its stores, such as charging for shopping bags. Oh, great. We already know that here in Colorado. And encouraging people to bring their own. Coloradans may already be used to bringing their own shopping bags due to state laws implemented in 2024, but locals may not be used to having to pay for a shopping cart. This is kind of weird. Aldi requires shoppers to unlock its shopping carts with a coin, a more common practice in Europe. But don't worry, shopping cart returns your quarter once you put the cart back in place. On some days, another shopper may be kind enough to hand you a cart on their way out, and you get a free quarter upon returning it, or pass the favor to the next shopper who forgot their coin. The grocery store put the system in place to reduce the number of staff needed to collect its carts, Aldi said on its website. Some items may still be in boxes. Another one is Aldi's unconventional cost-cutting measure is not focusing on fancy product displays. To save time and costs on unpacking, Aldi often leaves items in their original shipping boxes. Shopping at an Aldi's can sometimes feel like going through a warehouse. But it's most famous for its deep discounts. More than 90% of the store carries private label products, an effort to reduce hidden costs passed on to consumer from brand labels. A bottle of Winking Owl, Aldi's exclusive wine brand, can cost as low as $4. The grocer was named the fifth strongest consumer value proposition in the U.S. for 2025, according to a retailer preference index. So we're going to have Costco, Trader Joe's, Walmart, King Soopers, Safeway, Albertsons, and now Aldi's. Look at all that beautiful choice, the free market, bringing you all these wonderful things. It makes you wonder what we could do with the healthcare industry if we just allowed it to be a free market. But I digress. Bill, you're a fan of Aldi's.
Yeah, Aldi's is fantastic. They should be really good inside of the market. They, as we talked about earlier, they do a really good job with produce, cheese, dairy. Normally that's really well sourced. It's a smaller selection, but they go really hard into their own private label brands or off-label brands. And what that means is think Costco and Sam's Club, how you have major retailers providing their products under another name, under the Aldi's name or under another generic name. But again, that still comes out of their factory. It still comes, so some of that connecting the dots as far as what you can find. One of the things that Aldi's has got a reputation for is phenomenal marinara sauce. Really good, as in their private label selection can compete with Rouse. And again, if you're a marinara fan, Rouse is absolutely hands down the best on the shelf. It's not even close. It's also the most expensive one on the shelf. So chances are, inside of your budget, listen to the Jeff and Bill show, you don't splurge for that one every single week. This is a wonderful lower cost option. That's the kind of things they do. Their take and bake pizzas are wonderful. Also, they've got a brand of frozen chicken breasts that I hear are just next level. In fact, it comes in a bag that has some red on it, and it's called Red Bag Chicken by a nickname. There's a real name to it, but it is so popular that it has gotten its own nickname. Their ice cream is pretty darn good. Their pre-cut chopped salad mixes are wonderful. They do a really good job on that type of private label selection, and they cut the prices. Are you going to find all the selection you will have inside of a Walmart grocery store, inside of a Target, King Soopers, Safeway? No, you're not going to have all of that selection. It's going to be much more limited, but you've got more value, and they're focusing on you buying their brand. They don't want you to buy the Heinz ketchup. They want you to buy their brand of ketchup. Also, get the Isle of Shame. Yeah, the Isle of Shame is fantastic. Now, those that aren't familiar with it, The aisle of shame is the middle aisle, sometimes 2 aisles in Aldi's. That's where they do a lot of their seasonal discount find stuff. And so it's things that have been around a little too long, things that are, it's the idea of the Christmas candy that you pick up on January 4th, but also it's stuff that is only there for a limited amount of time that they might be testing, or it might be an overstock somewhere else, or some sort of a supplier has got too much, so they're putting it on their shelves in order to move it at a discount so that they still make money on it. So again, it is a wonderful opportunity to just browse the idea. Okay, anybody that wanders through and finds the dented can section at your local grocery store, you're going to love the aisle of shame. This is like the dented can section on steroids. It's fantastic. Yeah, this could be a really, really good move for Colorado. Especially they do good prices, good products. They're the same company as Trader Joe's. That's it. They're just Trader Joe's without the cool factor. That's basically what they are.
There you go. All right. And they're going to be all along the Denver Metro I-25 region from Denver to Colorado Springs within the next 5 years, with the Aurora Distribution Center opening in 2029. So
I'm hoping
50
for them
of them.
pushing down the produce prices. That'd be fan-freaking-tastic. I'm not paying $10 for a big thing of strawberries. Stupid. Pissing me off recently. What up $1.50 at my local stores?
Well, if you have an Aldi experience, give us a call. I'd love to hear from you. 303-696-1971. Let's talk modern rugged leather. From city streets to mountain trails, your gear should go wherever life takes you. That's why at Modern Rugged Leather, every bag is handcrafted from premium, responsibly sourced leather. Designed to look sharp, last long, and tell a story of its own. These are beautiful bags. Absolutely the most beautiful leather bags I've ever seen. Each stitch, buckle, and strap reflects timeless craftsmanship and is backed by a lifetime warranty, because quality shouldn't quit when the adventure begins. So whether it's the boardroom or the back roads, Modern Rugged Leather helps you carry confidence every step of the way. Modern Rugged Leather, modern style, timeless durability, backed for life. Look, life's going to take you places. Make sure your gear keeps up. Shop the full collection and find yours today at modernrugged.com. Again, that's modernrugged.com. All right, we'll continue with your phone calls and texts. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Billy, a record-breaking weekend for the National Western Stock Show. How about that?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
National Western Stock Show
Yes.
opened its 120th anniversary show on Saturday and Sunday, breaking attendance records along the way. First 2 days of the 16th-day event saw 118,000 people.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
Whoa! Breaking the record for opening weekend attendance. While it's not actually the 120th consecutive show due to COVID pandemic canceling the 2021 show, it's the 120th year the stock show has existed. Billy, you and I are going to be down there.
Yeah, we're going to go tomorrow and goof around a little bit.
Right after
Yeah.
the show.
Yes, that'll
Go
be
grab
fun.
some lunch. We got some media passes. We're going to be like Wayne and Garth on
Oh,
Wayne's
yeah.
World.
Like, hey, Wayne's World, pass. This will be fun. I'm excited. So, yeah, we're going to go hang out there tomorrow. And this weekend's a little busy. Might have to get in next weekend after that. But
Take the
to see.
family
Yes.
down to go
Yeah.
there?
We got to. The whole family's excited to go. Just because it's a chance to wander through Colorado's heritage and kind of get outside what the city is and understand what happens elsewhere in the region. And, just the other part is it's cool looking at the animals. It's really cool. And a lot of the, some of the clothing and the food and just the atmosphere. It's just a neat experience to live in Colorado because there's so many other places in this country you can live and you wouldn't have the opportunity to have this experience in your backyard. So it's there. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. It's
Absolutely,
fantastic.
because Oklahoma City would love to have it.
Yes, they would, and they can't have it. No.
They tried.
Yeah.
They tried real hard to get it.
Yeah, they did.
And the RNC is not coming to Colorado anytime soon. The DNC might. The Democrats are trying to get the DNC here. So for us red-blooded conservatives, stock show's about all we got.
Yeah, and for me, the part of that I talk to the kids about is the idea that you see these kids that have started 4-H and they've raised chickens, they've raised pigs, they've raised cows, and they bring them to auction, and then they turn them into money. And the idea of them learning that process and getting involved in ranching and farming and what that means long term and how that benefits our region. I think it's just fantastic. And for the kids, it's the idea of this is a totally different experience growing up than what you get here in the concrete jungle. So let's go take a look at what these other kids are doing because a lot of stuff they do is a lot of fun. So, yeah, I'm excited to go.
We'll be walking around Wednesday after the show, so think 10:30 on.
Yeah.
We'll grab some lunch down there, so look for us. Would love to see you at the National Western Stock Show running now through it's the best 16 days in Colorado. So you got 13 days left in order to go enjoy the National Western Stock Show. Well, Billy, there was an opinion piece in Fox by our colleague Hugh Hewitt. Trump is on the cusp of greatness. Khamenei is on the edge of the abyss, saying that Trump should make moves now to secure his greatness by taking out Khamenei. What are your thoughts on that?
Oof. I want to know how inside of MAGA we've gone from America first, no wars, the peace president, to, wow, this is great that we've taken Maduro. How about we take out the leadership of Iran? I mean, there's part of it. We talked about this during the Iraq War, that the Pottery Barn rule, you break it, you bought it. You go into Iran and you depose the leader, that puts you on a path of nation building. It would be foolhardy to think you could take out the leadership of Iran and then just walk away, and that vacuum would spawn something wonderful and fantastic. It's
I'm
a
sure
very weird
ISIS
idea.
would not at all want to have Iran.
No, not
and
in the
their
least. Yes.
nuclear
Yeah.
attack.
So that's the idea is, what does this mean? And I think that depending on how serious, and I never really know sometimes how serious Trump is about certain things, but depending on how serious he is about this, I don't know, because he was fairly critical of Obama during the Arab Spring, that Obama did not help, and those were his words, the Iranian protesters at the time. There wasn't any support given to them. And so that's the question is, what is the support the Americans would give? What does that look like? And I can't understand. I can't wrap my head around the idea that we are now to the point inside of MAGA that the best use of America's time and treasure is nation building. I thought we were going to be rebuilding our nation, the golden age of America. But instead now we're involved in rebuilding Venezuela, and it looks like we're going to pick up another country. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
changing.
sort of like Trump's gotten the taste for just taking out some dictators, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Now the consequences and the results of it haven't been fully analyzed yet. Hugh Hewitt saying Trump is on the cusp of joining the very small number of American presidents who reorder the world. Khomeini on the cusp of history's abyss, reserved for murderous fanatics. If Trump tips Khomeini over the edge, the president's place in history will be secure. He will have returned freedom to the great Persian people. Ooh, I don't know. I'm getting Saddam Hussein vibes again when Hugh puts that out. I'll be honest. Just take him out. Everything will be great. Just take him out.
Because the people are yearning for freedom.
Freedom.
Yes, they're yearning. Be greeted with flowers. And that's the part for me is I can't believe that Hugh is saying that we're looking at reordering the world. That wasn't the sales pitch from MAGA at the time. It wasn't that this is the great next American century and we're going to reorder the world. It was America first. Let's take care of our own.
I'm kind of with you on this one. And goodness, we've run into the Middle East before and said, if they just get a little bit of democracy, if they can just taste it, could you imagine how wonderful the future will be when those Islamists change their ways and become Western democracy supporting types of people? I think there's two really broken communities out there that no matter what you do, just fall right back into the traps of authoritarianism and oppression and kicking little girls out of school, selling them off to be married at 7. Those are the Islamists. And the second are the communists. So no matter what you do, they just fall right back into it. So why spend any money? Just kind of wall them off. Let them fight each other. I don't know. This one I'm a little skeptical on. All right, text messages coming in on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Iggy texting in, I hope these grocery stores open in the food deserts.
That would help.
Iggy.
Yeah, it would help.
Are you guys comping entrance fees and lunches to the National Western Stock Show? No, Iggy.
No.
We're a radio station.
Yeah. Not at all.
This is not Mr. Beast.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, not Mr. Beast. We'll have our own theme parks.
I think it was Joan reminding us that today is Free Grounds Day for the National Western Stock Show. She's exactly right.
Oh, that's cool.
Thank you, Joan, for that reminder. You can go down there and enjoy the free grounds. I think you might still have to pay for parking, of course, but go down. They have some free parking down there. But go down and enjoy the grounds of the National Western Stock Show today for free. All right, let's go to the phones. Mary in Wyoming. Good morning, Mary. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Morning.
Good morning, you two. I'm going to address what you are talking about right now, and that is about Venezuela and Iran. What my frustration is that people are short-sighted. I don't understand why they're not figuring out Venezuela was developing relations on our doorstep. I mean, in China and Russia, they had bases. They were buying ports. Do you know if we go to war, what that's going to do to us? It's going to put us in a bad situation. You look at Iran.
I'm not certain that they have actual military bases inside of Venezuela. There's military cooperation. I don't believe that there is any actual military base. And by that, it's the idea of like what the U.S. sets up elsewhere. I know they have use of
You're
certain
right.
areas and
Not that
partnerships,
big,
but
not a
base
training.
per se. Oh, yeah. They have military cooperation,
small
sure.
training. They had bought, like I said, the port. There was a big episode about a port that was becoming available, and on another show they were pushing for the Americas to please don't let Russia get it. And I mean, so those relationships were being established. So he's going in there and preventing that from happening. Also, they were the oil money issue. People was not recognizing that the petrodollars were not going to be American dollars. That was going to impact our economy. And then you also, I'm going to go on the Iran side. The concern is even Obama said the last time they had the people rioting, et cetera, and coming out, he should have stepped in. He should have done something to prepare that. This time,
Maduro is a bad guy, but you know what? This is the problem that I've got, Mary, with the idea of Venezuela, because we've got China and Russia going there, and because of the oil and the resources, and because we wouldn't be in control of it. It sounds a heck of a lot like all the justifications Putin makes for his invasion of Ukraine, and it also sounds a heck of a lot like all the justifications that Xi Jinping makes about needing more control in the Pacific Asian Rim, especially needing control of Taiwan. It sounds like we are doing the same thing and making the same justifications for our military actions that our enemies are. It's almost identical. The case that you made for us in Venezuela is almost identical to the case that Putin made about Ukraine.
You keep applying some old bull stuff to 50 years ago on how it was in this country. Nowadays,
wait,
we
Mary,
are a
with
huge
respect,
country. We need resources.
Mary.
Right now, we are at. Well, no, let me finish then, Bill. We have resources right now that we have to go to China for, because they were smart enough to start absorbing those, and they use that as leverage against us. And we're not, and we're smart enough, not smart enough that they're going to have all that, and then we have to keep going to them to be able to do our computers, our trucks, our et cetera. Come on, can't we look forward enough to realize that we need to be better prepared?
So, Mary, I don't disagree with that, but I'm not looking far back when I'm talking about Putin's invasion of Ukraine. That's recent. That's 5 years.
No, it is.
I know, but I'm not going back to old BS. I'm going back to very recent past justifications for invasion. And the problem I have with the case that you laid out right there is, yes, China did get ahead of us on rare earth materials and other things like that. And then our solution then is a military one in which we go and take the leader of another country and then say, now we control you. I think that as Americans, shouldn't we have a problem with our country doing, as Jeff oftentimes, a gunboat diplomacy? The idea that, well, we didn't plan well enough and now China's ahead of us. So our solution is we need to take control of your country.
But isn't that
That's
kind
America?
But,
Really?
No, Bill, I think there's... Oh, go ahead, Mary. I'll give you the final word.
You
then we got to get to a
ahead,
break.
Jeff. Please, you go ahead. Because in other words...
I was going to say that's just kind of the way all of world history has worked. The big guys take the resources that they want. And to Mary's point, we kind of got into this mindset of like anti-colonialism. Look how cool we are with our progressive anti-colonialism. And then China and Russia are like, all right, we'll just take it. All right, Mary. And America's now fighting back. Go ahead.
But look at Greenland. Their land is melting. There's more traffic, et cetera. And who's going to get it?
Who's going to get what?
I mean,
Greenland.
Denmark. It's theirs. And they're NATO allies. This is the dumbass thing with Trump talking
Greenland
about...
is not a NATO.
Hang on.
Denmark is.
Yes, it is. Mary, here's the why.
Greenland,
Mary,
we have
Mary,
bases on... Check it out.
Yeah, Mary, I have. We have military people and bases on Greenland, and we've had installations
but that doesn't make them NATO.
Hang on. How do they get there?
from the World War II treaty that we had, that we would be able to use that.
And post World War II with NATO and our agreement with Denmark, that's the BS that Trump is selling us about the fact that we have to take Greenland. The idea is they're a NATO ally. If we want greater access to the land, we ask for it. They're friends of ours. We don't go and take it from them. That's the dumbass part about this. That's the thing. The whole idea of taking it over is ridiculous.
Denmark, they are right in that Denmark and Greenland cannot protect it. And NATO, you tell me where NATO's gone in. I mean, right now, why isn't NATO going into Iran? Those people, et cetera. Why do they have to depend upon us?
Mary, that's a Trump question. NATO has been the most durable, most effective international organization since World War II. It has done more to prevent the expansion of dictatorships and communism than any other organization.
Do you think it was NATO, or do you think it was
that's from their
America?
Website. That's from their website. It's not true.
Mary, we got a break here.
That is legit. It is NATO. That is legit. It is the most effective, most efficient. Yes, it is.
But aren't we the majority payer of NATO? It seems to me that it's America's involvement in NATO.
How does? But we don't.
NATO by itself, without us, wouldn't have been able to do that.
And us without NATO wouldn't be able to do either. That's good to remember as well.
Just the two of us. All right, we'll continue. We got You Choose the News coming up. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. It's that time of the morning where Bill Thorpe dances on the line a little bit.
Yeah.
Could get us in some trouble with You Choose the News.
Just imagine the stories I can't read in the mornings. Yes, there are a lot of those. I got a file. This is time for America's favorite fake radio news game show, You Choose the News. Yes, the stories the FCC can't allow. Yes, you know how this works. I have browsed the interwebs for mere moments this morning. I've got these stories in my hands. I gave them even more ridiculous headlines to play this fake radio news game show with you because nobody in charge is awake at this hour. So Jeff and I are going to take full advantage of being left unsupervised. And as always, Blake Olson joins us from the news department. Now, Blake and Jeff, here are your choices this morning. Headline number 1, putting the tired in retirement. Headline number 2, can you hear me now? Headline number 3, keep honking. And headline number 4, going it alone. Mr. Hunt.
Start with the tired in retirement.
Yes, we are going to be putting the tired in retirement with this one. Here we find ourselves in Florida and that wonderful retirement community, the Villages. Yes, the Villages. Well, recently police discovered a villager snoring, passed out in his golf cart. And because of this, he's lost his driver's license. 59-year-old Sean Thomas Nelson of the Village entered a plea of no contest recently to a charge of driving under the influence. Yes, it counts in golf carts. He's going to lose his driver's license for 6 months and has been placed on probation for a year in order to perform community service. A 911 caller alerted local police that they found a man sleeping in a green golf cart about 2 o'clock in the morning on the road. Tried to wake the man up, but he was unsuccessful. Deputy arrives on the scene, notices the key in the ignition of the golf cart. That's an important key because then you're going to be drunk driving. And he said the man in the golf cart continued to sleep even when he tried to wake him and continued to snore loudly. Yes, the deputy wrote on the arrest report that he was snoring loudly. Nolan was eventually identified by his Florida driver's license, almost fell, the officer says, from the golf cart while speaking with the deputy. And yes, he failed the on-site sobriety test. When he provided breath samples, he registered a 0.25 and a 0.252 blood alcohol content. In Florida, 0.08 is over the limit, and he's blowing a 0.25. Yes.
I'm laughing because the Villages is such a wild place.
It is. Right. Yes. It is.
I
okay.
can just see it.
Oh, it is. In
right
fact,
now.
It is one of the highest concentrations of STDs in the entire country. Yes, I know. Oh, it's great.
I can just picture the whole thing.
I know.
They got in like a bunch of political battles too.
Yes.
Between Trump supporters and Harris supporters on their golf carts.
Yeah, and they hold the golf cart parades and stuff. It's funny. All righty. Blake, can you hear me now? Keep honking or going it alone?
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Here we find ourselves in Albany, Georgia. According to the Department of Justice, 2 South Georgia inmates are involved in a nationwide scam despite being behind bars at the time. Joey Amor Jackson and Lance Riddle, both of Calhoun State Prison, were recently found guilty of several felonies, a conspiracy to commit wire fraud, counter conspiracy to commit money laundering, and more, because according to court documents, they were scamming victims by calling people from prison, telling them they had warrants out for their arrest due to missing jury duty. They would post as law enforcement officers and going to accept payment. Here's the kicker. The people should have figured it out. Well, the payment, no, we can't take your credit card. No, you can't come down to the station and write us a check.
Bitcoin.
You have to go buy a gift card and then read the numbers to us off the back. Because we know the police accept payment in gift card.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Exactly.
They often ask you that. Are you paying card, cash, or a gift card? Yeah. So that's the issue. Is that, how they managed to do this from jail is impressive. Over 100 victims nationwide, netting them nearly $500,000. Man, $500,000. I know.
Wild.
It's a huge scam. All right.
You've seen at the grocery store now, they have those big signs near the gift cards.
Yeah.
You know, beware of fraud.
Yeah, exactly. Some people go on there, take the numbers, and then okay. And then when you register them, they take the money from you. Jeff, final choice: keep honking or going it alone?
Keep honking.
Yeah, keep honking. A content creator has built an accessory that allows owners to honk at you when you're driving down the road. He has taken an iPad, put a TikTok iPad on the back of his car, and when you honk, it scrolls. So you can follow him, and he said he just wanted to give people something to watch. But again, they're always honking at you behind. I know. Interesting, but probably not effective. Jeff,
There
back
you
to
go.
you.
Interesting. You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
This is KNUS.